Hi there. Thank you for visiting my channel and welcome. There are already a ton of stories about Jeff Goldberg being accidentally included in a signal chat group by the Trump administration officials. This is regarding attack on the Houthi rebels. I don't think there is more I can add to it. It's a serious story, it's a bizarre story, and it's also a laughable story. So I decided to make a mockumentary out of it. I hope you like it. Enjoy.
We begin with the story aired on February 18, 2024 by the Put a pin in that. We will get back to it. October 2023. The Hamas invasion of Israel sets off a chain reaction. The Houthis, with their chilling motto, enter the fray. In early 2024, the Red Sea, a vital artery of global trade, under siege. Houthi rebels, backed by Iran, unleashing chaos. The world held its breath, waiting for a response. The Biden administration's response is seen by many as insufficient. The incoming Trump administration promised a tougher line. The Trump administration took military action against the Houthis on March 15, 2025. But what happened behind the scenes was a story even seasoned journalists couldn't believe.
March 11, 2025. Jeffrey Goldberg, the chief editor of The Atlantic, got a connection request on Signal from someone claiming to be Michael Waltz. As a journalist, he was wary. He said to himself, was it real? Was it a trap? In the Trump era, those questions were amplified.
Goldberg, editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, accepts the request. 2 days later, a notification. He's been added to a group chat, Houthi PC small group. The messages are from Michael Waltz, outlining a principals group for Houthi coordination. Goldberg is stunned. This is a principals committee, the highest level of national security officials. On a messaging app?
In his Atlantic article dated March 24, 2025, Goldberg says, "It was surreal. I've covered national security for years. The idea that this kind of discussion was happening on Signal, it just didn't compute."
The conversation on the Signal group unfolds. Officials discuss strategy, potential risks, and the political implications. The debate is robust, even dissenting voices are heard. Vice President J.D. Vance raises concerns about the economic impact and the potential inconsistency with Trump's messaging on Europe. The U.S. Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, argues for a strong response, emphasizing freedom of navigation and deterrence. In his messages on the Signal app, Hegseth says, "This is not about the Houthis. I see it as two things: 1, restoring freedom of navigation, a core national interest, and 2, re-establish deterrence, which Biden created."
As the discussion progresses, Goldberg grapples with the implications. Is this real? If it is, the implications are staggering.
Saturday, March 15. The Hegseth account posts a team update. The message contains operational details of forthcoming strikes on Yemen.
Goldberg thought to himself, the message laid out the details: targets, weapons, timing. When he was in a supermarket parking lot, the news started breaking. It was real. The strikes commence. The group chat erupts with congratulations. The operation is deemed a success. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Goldberg removes himself from the group. He reaches out to the officials involved, seeking answers.
Brian Hughes, Deputy National Security Advisor for Strategic Communications, said, "This appears to be an authentic message chain, and we are reviewing how an inadvertent number was added to the chain." The revelation raises serious questions. Potential violations of the Espionage Act, Federal Records Law, the use of Signal for sensitive discussions, the accidental inclusion of a journalist. Jason Barron, professor of the practice in the University of Maryland's College of Information Studies, in College Park, says, under the records laws applicable to the White House and federal agencies, all government employees are prohibited from using electronic messaging applications such as Signal for official business. The irony is not lost. Donald Trump, who relentlessly attacked Hillary Clinton for her email practices, presides over an administration where sensitive military operations are discussed on an unsecured messaging app.
Let's talk about this. Let's watch how then candidate Trump attacked Hillary Clinton over this very issue.
Her judgment is horrible. Look at her judgment on emails. Who would do it? She showed great negligence. And the real word is negligence in what happened. She put us all at risk. If I got a subpoena, think of this. If I got a subpoena for emails, If I deleted one email, like a love note to Melania, it's the electric chair for Trump. Hillary was a criminal. She deleted her emails. People go to jail for that.
When asked by Hannity what Trump thinks when he mentions Hillary Clinton's name, Trump said this.
Hillary.
I think of emails. I think of the email scandal. How she got away with that is a disgrace. I think it's a disgrace.
Here, the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth clearly violated record-keeping laws by conducting this sensitive operation on a messaging app. Ironically, this is what he said about the controversy related to private email server by the then Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton.
Apparently, the standard operating procedure inside the Clinton Secretary of State office was to send emails that couldn't otherwise be printed to the maid to print them out of a secure area or from a secure area and then hand them off. Any security professional, military, government or otherwise, would be fired on the spot for this type of conduct and criminally prosecuted for being so reckless with this kind of information. The fact that she wouldn't be held accountable for this, I think, blows the mind of anyone who's held our nation's secrets dear, who's had a top secret clearance like I have and others, who know that even one hiccup causes a problem, let alone a standard procedure like this.
Very, very funny. Or is it? Even one hiccup causes a problem, let alone a standard procedure like this. Said Pete Hegseth back then. What does he have to say about this major breach, which is way massive than a hiccup?
Looking forward to it. One question.
Can you share how your information about war plans against the Houthis in Yemen was shared with a journalist in The Atlantic? And were those details classified?
You're talking about a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes time and time again, to include the hoaxes of Russia, or the fine people on both sides hoax, or suckers and losers hoax. So this is the guy that peddles in garbage. This is what he does.
The man appears to be in so much stress that he was unraveling. What the fucking hell is Russia hoax or the fine people on both sides hoax? What does all that shit has to do with this security breach story? Even Fox's own Brit Hume called out Pete Hegseth as bullshit. Oh, for God's sake, the administration has already confirmed the authenticity of the message. When asked about Hegseth's denial, Goldberg did not mince words.
Saying that nobody was texting war plans. Given you were privy to this group chat, is that how you saw it?
No, that's a lie. He was texting war plans. He was texting attack plans. When targets were going to be targeted, how they were going to be targeted, who was at the targets, when the next sequence of attacks were happening. I didn't publish this, and I continue not to publish it because it felt like it was too confidential, too technical, and I worry, honestly, that sharing that kind of information in public could endanger American military personnel. But no, they were plans for the attack. And they were texted before the attack.
In other words, by disclosing enough details about the text chain and the security breach surrounding the attack on Houthis, Goldberg fulfilled his journalistic duties. At the same time, by not disclosing sensitive information about the plan, he acted patriotically. It is not just Hegseth with rank hypocrisy. CNN put a montage of Trump officials in the Houthi PC small group riling against what they saw as serious security breaches by Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden.
If there was anyone other than Hillary Clinton, they would be in jail right now.
Nobody is above the law, not even Hillary Clinton, even though she thinks she is.
Mishandling classified information is still a violation of the Espionage Act.
When you have the Clinton emails, on top of the fact that the sitting president of the United States admitted he had documents in his garage, they didn't prosecute, they didn't go after these folks.
Hillary Clinton responded tonight with this: "You have got to be kidding me."
The accidental inclusion of a journalist in a war planning group chat. A story that exposes the inner workings of power, the risks of technology, and the blurred lines between information and security. In the age of instant communication, how secure are our secrets? And who is watching the watchers?
In his article in The Atlantic, Jeffrey Goldberg says, "It was a bizarre and unsettling experience. It made me realize how easily information can be mishandled, even at the highest levels of government. It's a story that raises more questions than it answers."
Here's how Jesse Waters tried to minimize a major security breach by the administration on the Trump administration's propaganda network, Fox.
Did you ever try to start a group text? You're adding people and you accidentally add the wrong person. All of a sudden, your Aunt Mary knows all your raunchy plans for the bachelor party. Well, that kind of happened today with the Trump administration. Mike Waltz was putting together a group chat on Signal, an encrypted app, with the Secretary of Defense, the VP, and a bunch of other national security officials to collaborate on whether to strike Iranian proxies in Yemen who keep firing missiles and shutting down shipping. Well, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz accidentally added a reporter to the group text, and not a good reporter. Jeffrey Goldberg from The Atlantic, one of the biggest hoax artists around. Well, he heard some things he probably shouldn't have, but could have been a wee bit of a security breach. But it's not like they homebrewed a server and then bleached it or kept classified documents in their garages next to their Corvette. I'm sure it won't happen again.
Accidentally and carelessly revealing top national security plans is not the same as sending your bachelor party plans to your aunt. You dipshit. Take your smirking condescending face of yours and stick it up your ass. What an asshole. Here's the Commander-in-Chief, Donald Trump himself, admitting that he has no fucking clue about this major security breach.
Your reaction to the story in The Atlantic that said that some of your top cabinet officials and aides had been discussing very sensitive material through Signal and included an Atlantic reporter for that. What is your response to that?
I don't know anything about it. I'm not a big fan of The Atlantic. To me, it's a magazine that's going out of business. I think it's not much of a magazine, but I know nothing about it. You're saying that they had what?
They were using Signal to coordinate on sensitive materials and
having to do with what? Having to do with what? What were they talking about?
With the Houthis.
The Houthis? You mean the attack on the Houthis? Right. Well, it couldn't have been very effective because the attack was very effective. I can tell you that. I don't know anything about it. You're telling me about it for the first time.
Just a few days ago, the Defense Secretary, a DUI candidate, Pete Hegseth, said this.
Under the previous administration, we looked like fools.
Somebody made you look like a fool? Or you are always one? Remember this axe-throwing incident when you were a weekend show host on Fox?
With the axe. Who's going to win this battle with the lumberjacks? That's coming up next. I'm putting my money on Clayton.
Yes, that really happened. He almost fucking killed that drummer. Careless, reckless, idiotic, foolish, not to mention, dangerous. Anyway, let's go back to what Pete was saying earlier.
Under the previous administration, we looked like fools. Not anymore.
Not anymore? Let's see. At the same meeting, Hegseth said this.
America is going to have a generations in the future of air dominance because of this sixth generation fighter. We've had the F-15, we had the F-16, the F-18, the F-22, the F-35. Now we have the F-47, which sends a very direct, clear message.
F-16, F-17, F-18, F-22, F-35, and now F-47. Great. Jimmy Kimmel has a hilarious take on this series of fighter jets listed by Hegseth.
Now we have the F-47, which sends a very direct, clear message.
It does? F-47 sounds more like a vanity plate you get if you wanted everybody to know you don't like Donald Trump. F-47 could be our version of Let's Go Brandon.
Accidentally looping in a journalist into a top-secret operation is bad enough. Conducting a top-secret military operation via a messaging app is a major breach of security protocols. That itself is egregious. That begs the question, what other top-secret operations they are doing by similar means? My other question, Mohan's question is, what is Elon Musk's role in this operation? Given that Trump appears to have no clue about what happened, was this op done at Elon's behest? We learned from the 60-minute story, Houthis disrupted Tesla's supply chain in 2024. Inquiring minds want to know, did Elon order this op? Look, buddy, I'm just an AI voice. This guy, his name is Mohan, hired me. He couldn't make up his mind. He kept changing his script. I am tired. Very tired. To conclude this video, I will summarize last few days with some help from Ron Filipkowski. By the way, Ron is the most underrated funny guy on Twitter, or whatever the fuck Elon calls it now. Here goes. Everyone in Greenland really wanted Vusha Vance to come. Putin wants peace. Trump won the club championship. ICE didn't know about the court order. Musk isn't in charge of Doge. That's Trump's real hair. Hegseth didn't text war plans. I repeat, Hegseth didn't text war plans. Remember this. Freedom is slavery. War is peace. Let's all buy us some vanity stuff, which Hegseth calls
F-47.
Yeah, let's all do that. F-47.
Which sends a very direct, clear message.
Until next time, ta-ta, goodbye.